Welcome to Take One Talk, a podcast with suggestions and topics made up on the spot, and Take One has to deal with the chaos. Make sure to send in your comments and questions to our social media at Take One Improv so we can talk about it on our show. Now, get ready to take off your pants and piss yourself. Hi, welcome to Take One Talks Season 2. My name is Christian Harris, and you're here with Take One Talk. This is the backstage pass that everyone asked for.
Nobody asked for!
And by that, I mean nobody asked for. This is my friend and colleague, Patriot. I wanted to say compatriot.
We're already... Can you tell that we've commandeered a new intro and it has not been rehearsed whatsoever?
Nope, we barely talked about it.
Yeah, like...
Yeah.
My compatriot.
Compatriot. So yeah, we are Take One, the two of us, that's it. No one else. And
no one else exists.
No one else exists. And this is a chance for everybody to kind of get behind the scenes with us.
Yeah, we're here to talk about everything that's going on in the fandom and in the industry, but from our perspective. Also, someone's just goblining around right now.
What are you doing? Okay. So for the audio listeners...
No, just wait.
Okay.
Just wait.
We're waiting.
We're waiting.
There she is.
No one else exists.
No one else. Toshi's getting into your plans.
He's just kind of chasing his own tail.
So
I already forgot what's happening.
I know.
That was very disruptive.
Dana's like, you guys can do this episode by yourself, and the first thing she does.
Yeah, she definitely pulled a Corey.
Yeah, you guys are playing now. I want to play too. I play too.
So this is our first episode back from the holidays. It's our first podcast of 2024. So everybody wants to know, Corey, how was your holidays?
My holidays were actually awesome. Like I went home, and me and my family had a good time, which is out of the norm. A lot of times we'll just like stare at each other. So this was like the first time we played games. It was actually like a really, really good time.
Cool. Did you notice how I asked you that question like I had to? Like there's a gun to my head. Like how was your holidays?
Because there is. And also it was really cool because I brought my whips with me. Like I brought all my bull whips, and watching my family whip themselves was awesome. It was super fun. So
I mean, look, it's easy to do though. Like you let me play with the whips a little bit, and I cranked the back of my leg like 3 times. But luckily I was okay. It didn't hurt.
yeah, but it does hurt.
Oh, it can for sure.
It hurts a lot.
I loved this morning. Before we do the podcast, we do rehearsals for improv. I walk into the theater and Corey's like, "Hey, I learned new tricks. Watch this." And
it was awesome. I learned a trick that was. Oh, go ahead.
No,
sorry.
it was cool. And so then he was like, "Hey, watch!" And he throws a cup in the air and he like unsheathes a whip like it's a sword and whips it out of the air. And my pants fell off.
Yeah, it was awesome. And it was like my first time doing this trick. I've not practiced this trick. Like I was trying to find a way to whip a cup off of something, but I couldn't find anything in the theater that I was like, that's sturdy enough to take this without damaging it. So then I was like, you know what? I'll just throw it into the air. And so I threw it in the air and first try like knocked out Scott. I was like, oh, that's awesome. And then I just kept doing it. And so, yeah, I have a new trick that I can do now that I didn't know I could do before. And it's awesome.
I just love that you took whips, which is already kind of nerdy, and turned it into a weeb, like a full-on move.
Oh yeah, because I unsheath it.
Yeah, it's
but
really
it makes
funny.
it more accurate for me. Like it's the way I can aim better.
Yeah.
So it actually does serve a purpose.
Oh, of course it does. And then also too, so for New Year's we went to a con, OkiCon. Mm-hmm. So how was your New Year's?
Oh my gosh, I had a wild time. That was a good time.
There's like clips. So Jamin is one of the videographers for fandom. He has his own stuff too. But there is like a New Year's party video, and there's one of you just dancing in the middle of the rave at New Year's night.
And like me and some of
That's on video?
Yeah.
Oh, you should share it to me. I wanna see
yeah,
that.
it's a really good video. Jamin knocked it out of the park. But during that like night with the rave, I'm standing outside the rave, just like looking in. No. I like we count like 5, 4, 3, 2, and I was like, I'm going to bed. See you guys.
I'm done.
I'm done.
How was your holidays though?
Nothing significant happened. No changes in my life were made.
Nothing at all. Not a single notable thing
Not
happened
even.
over the holidays. Not one notable. Like literally, it was so. His holidays were so boring.
Yeah.
And so uneventful. He died. Several times.
I did. Yeah. And I had a DNR, but the doctors didn't listen.
Also,
to
he
it.
got married.
I did get married. Yeah, and I moved into a new place.
Nothing major.
No, it's just
Just got married.
common stuff.
And then
really, I have a wedding ring now that I have to wear.
Yeah, you didn't notice that. It's so
I didn't.
insignificant that.
Yeah. It,
That's a big deal. That's
Kind of.
That's kind of a big thing to do on the holidays, man.
yeah, it's funny because like it still hasn't quite sunk in yet.
Yeah, that
You
you're
know.
married.
Yeah. So like I went and I have some new pants because at OkiCon.
Because when you get married, you get a whole new pair of pants.
I did.
Like they get like the justice of the peace hands you your wedding certificate
Yeah.
and then the pair of pants.
Yeah, and
Pants.
yeah. Well, except she gave it to Caroline, who wears the pants.
That joke was made in the 80s.
When I was born. But and so no, that my old pants had a huge rip in the butt area.
That
Which-
Caroline made.
Well, I actually it
Ka-ching,
happened.
ka-ching.
It happened at OkiCon, so there is a very real chance that I performed on stage with ripped pants.
Nice.
Yeah. But
Where? In the butthole?
it's very much in the butthole.
Oh,
yeah.
that's amazing.
Oh yeah. So I went and I got some new pants and I got these ones hemmed because I have penguin-like appendages. And the seamstress, she was asking me about my wife. And I was like, what are you talking about? Oh, I'm married! That's right, I forgot! And I feel really weird talking about, like, my wife.
My wife.
It feels so weird.
It's awesome.
Like, how long did it take you to get used to, like, talking about Danny as your wife? Like, when did that really just, like, set in?
That still hasn't said.
They've been married
Because
for...
she's staring at me, and I was like, I have a plethora of choices to make right now. I'm gonna take the worst option possible.
I choose
Right,
violence.
so a single man in his own mind.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop.
But thank you for the congratulations. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, yeah, I'm trying to think anything else. Yeah, just my mom came out for the wedding, and so I hung out with her a bit. And other than that, I've just been busy, you know, like converting a space so that both of us can live together and just boring adult stuff.
Adult stuff, because that's what being married is you go from lonely stuff to boring adult stuff.
Right. So we go home at night, we eat dinner, and we watch Disney Plus like adults.
Oh, I will say though, I know like in comedy, it's like such a typical trope to like married, the old ball and chain. I love being married over being single.
Oh, no, I love it, yeah.
Because I love having the option to not go out and it not be sad.
Yeah. No, like I actively miss her right now. Like because when to come here, I left the apartment as she got home and I was sad.
I will say though, like listening to them talk to each other is the most disgusting, awful, torturous experience I've ever had in my entire life. Like me and Danny have.
It's because we talk like in Cthulhu language to each other. It is actually physically harmful.
No, yeah, it breaks my psyche. Like I know unknowable things.
Yeah.
Black ichor just comes
Yeah.
out of my eye.
Well, the funny thing is you heard it for the first time the day before my wedding.
I know.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's how they talk to each other?
For
I'm gonna
2
have to
years.
I'm gonna have to break up this marriage.
I've
done it once, I can do it again.
I have wedding photos of Corey giving my wife the stink eye, like moments after we got married. It's very funny.
Did I really?
Yeah, you were like, because it was a stage thing. Because like, oh, this is my wife. You did it very much on purpose.
I remember I did that now.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I do obnoxious things, I immediately forget I did it, so I don't
I
have to
get
be
it.
accountable to my own crimes.
Yeah. No, I have it because I'm going to get it framed. It's
Oh,
going to
cool.
be good. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot I did that. Yeesh. But yeah, so that's awesome.
Another thing is, we were talking about this earlier, your run on MF Ghost has just wrapped up.
Season 1 wrapped.
Which is awesome, and you've been doing an amazing job. So, like, how has that experience been?
I was actually like, that's actually a good segue to my first bit. Hold on. Danny, is there a reason why the sink is going? Like, Danny, we're doing a show. Stop.
You need to have dirty hands.
Stop.
Dirty hand Danny.
Don't make me squelch back in.
Squelch.
She is trying so hard to get in this episode. Like, she's like, no, it's okay if you guys do it together. She is trying so damn hard to get in this episode.
And what we didn't want to say is that she's been misbehaving, so she's not allowed in this episode.
Yeah, like, you know what? So, this is my first segment. I was going to have another segment. Here's my new first segment. My first segment is that being married, the stuff they don't talk about. And
She legitimately scared me.
here's one of the things they don't talk about. Marriage is just a fart contract. Marriage. So that's what my first segment is going to be, is all the things that in a committed relationship, so whether it be marriage or a long-term committed relationship, that are like not the things that discuss. First things first is it's not about the romance. It's not about this is the person I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. What it's about is that you're now contractually obligated to deal with someone else's farts. And they are devastating. The other day, Danny let off one and then immediately followed up with, I'm comfortable now.
I love how she just slowly slurps away. So, on a related note, so I've been farting in front of Caroline for a while because I can't help myself. But I did do my first stinky fart. Like, it was silent and it smelled. And she looked at me side-eye. She's like, did you fart? And I was like, yeah, I did. I'm sorry.
And that's like a big moment. Like, when you fart in front of somebody, that's like a moment in the relationship. That's a milestone. Danny remembers when I first farted in front of her.
Oh, really?
Because I sneezed and farted.
So that's, yeah.
Yeah.
No, so I didn't sneeze. What did I do? But I was laying in bed. I coughed or something, and it just came out. And she laughed so hard, and it made me feel so much better.
See, those are big moments. Another thing about marriage that they don't talk about is that you become 40,000 times more weird after you get married. So, like, this week has been a particularly rough week for me, for Danny. So, Danny has all these Danny moments, and two of them happen really close to each other. The first one being, what I told you about it. What was the first one? Because I all I can remember is the one that happened recently.
Well, there was the face one on the rib.
So the first one, yeah, I don't know if I talked about this on an episode or not, but Danny decided one night while we were sleeping, so it's like we're going to bed, we're going to sleep, and she like grabbed the inside of my rib, and I had a visceral reaction to that. I went into like primal survival, like you are a predator attacking me, because I don't know if you guys have ever had the inside of your rib touched. That is an intimate place no one belongs, not even myself. And so she like went underneath and like touched the inside of my ribs, and I was like, ha. And then another one happened later on in the week. So it's 3 a.m. It's like 2 or 3 a.m. I'm dead asleep. She's dead asleep. And I don't think she woke up for this. She like rolls over and like caresses my face with her hand, which wakes me up. And so I'm like, and she's like caressing my face with her hand. And then she just takes her palm, shoves it into my nose, and just pushes my face. And like, I was like, ah! I was like, the hell was that for? And she goes, what?
A few months ago, I might have told you this already. A few months ago, so I don't go to sleep as fast as Caroline. It's like 3 minutes and she's out. She'll be in the middle of a sentence and she's asleep. It takes me like an hour or more. So I play the Switch in bed, and then I'm like, all right, cool, I'm done. I go to put the Switch over, and I go from my back to my side, and so I put my elbow into the bed to turn myself over. I put my elbow into the bed and start to move, and Caroline, she hisses at me like a cat. She just, and then she like gives little claws and starts like pawing at me. And I was like, what the hell is happening? She's been possessed by a cat demon. It legitimately made me like freak out. And then I realized that when I put my elbow into the bed, I was pulling her hair.
Whoa!
And so she was asleep, hissing and clawing at me. She didn't even remember it the next day.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I felt kind of bad.
We do it on purpose. We do a lot of cat bullshit on purpose.
On purpose is fine.
No, it's not. I think it's weirder. I think it's somehow weirder when you consciously choose to be cat.
But it's like a choice. She unconsciously is a cat.
Yeah, no, that means more to me. She is now my cat god.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
I now pray to Caroline.
I do
when
too.
I pray to my cat god.
That's so funny.
She's bossed or whatever it is. Yeah, no, so that's marriage. It's just dealing with people's weird nonsense. You know what her rationalization for pushing me in the face was? She goes, I thought in my dream you were a rabbit.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
It's like, so you shove rabbits?
Yeah, we do like to caress and then shove.
Shove, correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pet, now I'm done.
What is that? That's like the pet form of negging, you know? Like
Pet negging.
gaslighting.
Pegging.
No, pegging's different. That's different. We don't do that with our pets.
Pet negging is pegging.
Yeah. No, it's not. Don't put that out in the world.
No. Children watch our show, I think.
I mean, definitely at least one.
No, she's not a child when she's watching this show.
That's fair.
Okay. So my actual real segment before I was so rudely interrupted is that so you brought up that like MF Ghost had rapped. And MF Ghost is wrapped, and it's awesome, and I love that I did it. But now I went from like recording all the time on MF Ghost to not recording, and that's such a terrible experience to like go from working and doing a show consistently to not doing it. So that's been rough. What are some of like the really specific things about working in a creative field that are just not fun? Like not fun.
That's interesting.
Like, and what's worse is like, what really sparks is actors love to like, I just love the process. I love I just love the journey. And like, actors are so terrible about saying what they think the world wants to hear.
Yeah. No, dude. So I used to run a Facebook group that I founded it, or I decided to make it after the Snowmageddon in Texas a few years back, because so many people were without power and all this stuff, and I had no money. I could do nothing to help. I didn't have a place to put people up at all. Like, I was living with my family. I could do nothing, and I felt horrible about it. So I decided to make this Facebook group as like a kind of like a support group to help each other. But like, my circles were actors, so that was kind of, whatever. And it was cool at first, but then I remember one time I decided to make a post about how I was struggling to get in the booth. It was hard for me. It made me anxious. And I got dogpiled on by people who are like my peers, like, oh, I live for it. Like, that's the only time I feel at peace is
you
when I'm
guys
in
are the
booth.
worst.
Like,
I really want to talk about that point in particular. Those people drive me up the wall.
Like, it hurt I felt so like,
and you know why?
attacking.
And I'm gonna call them out. I'm real talk. It's because they're not working. The only people I ever hear talk like that are the ones that don't actually work consistently. Because if you work all the time, there are times you don't want to get in the booth.
Yeah.
You don't want to go. I will tell you, I was on a kid's show for 10 years, 400 and somewhat episodes. I loved that I did that job, and I enjoyed that job. But was every day a day that I wanted to go in? Hell no.
Right.
Hell no.
Yeah.
There were days I had to drag myself kicking and screaming to memorize my lines.
Yeah.
And there are parts of this job that are bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to lie. I hate auditioning.
Oh, dude, I hate auditioning.
I hate auditioning. I
it
hate
too.
it. I hate getting in that booth and doing work for free. I despise it. If I could bypass that, I would. But it's a part of the job. It sucks and I hate it, but I do it.
Speaking of auditions, there was an audition that Corey and I both did, and I felt really good about it. And Corey was like, "Hey, guess what? I just got this job for this audition, and guess what? I recorded it from my phone, and they took it, and it's amazing. I got paid." And I was like, "Oh, I worked really hard on that audition. Didn't get it." Corey's like, "I belched into it. It's like I didn't even care."
I phoned this in.
And I was like, "Oh, that feels good. I'm glad for my friend."
If it makes you feel better, I did the original recording I did do in my booth. It's just I had missed a word.
Oh.
So they had me re-record the audition because I'd missed the.
Oh, right.
But I was at the con at the time and there was no way. So I just went upstairs, got under the blankets and
Yeah.
belched one out.
But no, dude, auditioning is a real slog. Like, so for me, like the hardest parts about this job for me, like I could say like the jobs that I do just for money, not because I like it. Like I did a job for like 7 months, I think, for a YouTube channel. I hated it. I did scripts every single day, and it was like one of those like top 10 beach babes from Baywatch. I did that for 6 months or 7 months, whatever it was. The pay wasn't
You were
great.
a Watch Mojo person?
It wasn't Watch Mojo, but it was a channel very much like that.
That's awesome.
It sounds awesome, but it was tough. Like the production company was
It's not awesome that I'm like, oh, you should be appreciative you had that job. It's like, I just liked that content for a while.
yeah. I mean, so some of the videos were kind of fun, you know. Like my favorite one ever was the craziest wrestlers from history, and so I did a bunch of like really just bat crap, insane wrestlers I'd never heard of. And that one made me laugh out loud multiple times. Like, that was fun. But doing really weird ones like the hottest babes from Baywatch. And that one did so well on the internet that I had to do another one.
Really?
Yeah, and those videos had like hundreds of thousands of views. And I stopped doing it because it made me not want to get in the booth anymore. I hated it so much. But no, so the hardest part for me is when you go just long enough between gigs where morale and confidence starts to drop. You know, like, so like you just did your main role, and this isn't gonna happen, but like let's say like for the next 2 or 3 months you get no work.
It
Right?
might.
I just don't want to put it out in the universe, but like, yeah, it could.
I've had a rough week. Like, you might.
Right.
I had 2 callbacks that I got released from this week.
Really?
They were like, you're on call, or you've got a callback, you're right at first, you've been released. Same, and like it happened twice this week.
That's rough. That's super rough. But like for me though, it's that like, not like pit of despair. That's a bit overselling it, but it's that.
It is
that,
a pit of despair.
It can be though. It really can be. So that for me is really the hardest, where it's like, you know, like we go and we do a con and, you know, we're kings and we do really well. And then we get back and I ride high for like a few days and then it'll drop off because I have nothing else.
I slam into the floor when I come back from a con.
Yeah.
Like, because he's right when it was like you feel so cool when you're at a con, and then as soon as I get home and I'm back to the normal grind of it, where I spend every day by myself in my house.
Yeah.
It's rough. Like I crash, so I'm so depressed. Like it's
Well, yeah, luckily for me, I don't get depressed, but like if I don't have any other work going on for a long enough time, I start to lose motivation and confidence, and I get that way with auditions. They, you know, depending on who you ask, the rate of auditions and landed jobs, they say like if you're good, it's like 100 to 1. For every 100 auditions, you get 1 gig.
that's like Tom Cruise booking rates.
Yeah, like so that's really good. I remember one time So this was this was really early, but I remember I did over 1,000 auditions and I didn't get a single job. And it killed me.
I did my batting average like years and years ago. This was years and years ago, and it was like 1 in 840 something.
But I mean, like from my perspective, and I'm sure this is just outside looking in. Like to me, you book a lot right now.
But
like
for every 800 and somewhat like auditions, I book one gig.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's probably gone up now.
Sure.
And then you have to factor in, it's like, you're doing these auditions and this is also Smite and Paladin and all those games really skewed the numbers because you're getting, those at 20 to 30 at a time.
Yeah.
So those really skewed the numbers in a direction. It's probably a much more manageable batting average nowadays because I'm not doing 30 auditions a week.
Yeah.
For Smite.
There's a studio that sends auditions out and they'll send you every single character in the game. And my averages on those games are better because most actors don't do all 50 characters, but I do.
Oh my god.
And the pay's not even that good. But I know that the more I do, my chances go up because people do like maybe the first 5 or 10. And I'm like, all right, cool. There's 50 characters here. Half of them are ladies or whatever, or it's like 60, and so I'll do 30 characters. And that's a lot. Mm-hmm. That's a ton. And that's for one project.
And another thing that really gets me is whenever actors claim that they put their back into it for every single audition. And it's like, no, they don't. No, you don't. It's you really liar. Yeah. Like did you put your back into all 30 of those?
No.
God, no. That's impossible.
No. I will. I'll kind of go through it, and if I feel connected, I'll put more effort into it.
Yeah, but
some I just by far.
Some it's like,
yeah.
I've and you know what? You know what it is. Is the one I never book the one I put my back into.
I know.
I never do. The ones I book are the ones I throw completely away.
Dude, I had an audition.
What? Go ahead and say it, Danny. You're here.
I feel like you put your back into MF Ghost.
No.
Not to Iba?
So, I will tell you, reveal, Rig, I hope you don't watch this episode.
But you really wanted MF Ghost.
I really wanted MF Ghost. But he was
characters.
not the one I put my back into.
Oh, he wasn't the character that you were like, this is exactly who I think I'm gonna get. Like, who I should put all my marbles.
I put, he was a middle ground. Like, the ones I put my effort into was, I could probably book one of the minor racers with an accent. So I'm going to work on trying to do the accents. So I put my back into Beckenbauer.
Oh.
Yeah.
I put my back into Beckenbauer, if I remember right.
You had no, delusions about that Kanata was going to be.
Yeah.
Because you were like...
I put no effort into Kanata.
You were like, my voice isn't going to be that high. I'm probably not going to have the most authentic accent as some of the actual British actors that they have.
It was very surprising. Like, I was floored that I got Iba. Because I'd put so much effort into the other races because I thought I had a better shot at getting those.
But you've done... it's your voice modified Iba.
Iba's just me. It's just my speaking voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Thought's gone. Good job.
Oh, good job.
Good job.
Good job.
That's me. No, I did an audition. I can't remember if it was this week or the week before. I loved it. I loved it so much. But I also knew I turned it in a few days after it was posted. And once you do, the longer you wait to to send in an audition, your chances go down. And I'm really sad because now that I'm in between places, my booth is set up at my old place until I finish the project I'm still working on, until whatever, it doesn't matter. But now it's harder to get auditions done quickly, so it took me a couple days to get to this one. And it was unhinged. He's crazy, he's a villain, and I loved it. I loved it so much.
The crunchy one? The Jin one?
No, not the crunchy one. It's an indie project.
Oh, okay.
But it pays well. It was it actually would pay me better than anime. So I put in a lot of effort into it, and it's not often I get sad about auditions not getting them anymore because usually I just forget. Mm-hmm. I just do it, and then
you have to.
Yeah.
You have to.
Oh, you really do have to. Oh, yes, you do.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes. You
Oh,
must.
it's preposterous to think you would even remember an audition.
Well,
after
but that's actually a bit of, not advice, but it was advice. It was an interview I listened to with Nolan North about auditioning. Like, you can't.
Oh, the
You
worst.
can't be precious
I think I've
about
talked about this on the show before, but one of the worst things about whenever I dated outside of the acting world, not that like I was very vehement about not dating actors because we're all a little, anyways. So it was not. Well, only one of us can be the crazy one in the relationship. But the universe loves proving me wrong. So I ended up with an actress. But before that, when I would date the normies, it was always awful having to explain that, like, no, I don't remember it. Because, like, this one girl I dated, she'd constantly ask me, so did you hear back from that audition? It's like, no, I forgot about it.
Yeah.
Which I have to.
Right.
Stop reminding me
Yeah.
about these jobs.
She thought they were like job interviews.
Yeah, they're not like job interviews. They're you just throw that into the wind. Hopefully, it hits somebody in the face.
That's one thing, like with Caroline and I's relationship. Like the first year, there was growing pains because she is used to regular jobs, 9 to 5s, and so we would, on her days off, we'd spend those days together, and I would go in to record, and she would get grumpy. She's like, "No, this is our day together," and I'm like, "I understand, but I can't choose when I'm called in to record." And I'm not going to tell them no. I can't come in, because the more I tell them no, the less they'll ask me. Mm-hmm. Like, you're great, and I hope this goes places. Please don't make me choose.
Yeah.
Please. And, like, I remember on my birthday, my very first birthday with her, she got legitimately upset that I went and recorded on my birthday. She's way more like understanding now. She gets like I work nights and weekends. Mm-hmm. Like I saw her for 3 minutes today. I'm gonna get home tonight. She's gonna be asleep. That's just the nature of it. Like it's not predictable. It's not consistent. It is you do whatever you can when you can, and you just kind of
You don't get to decide when the jobs the jobs come. It's a lot like, like hunting, where it's like you don't choose when the animal shows up. You're just ready whenever it shows up.
Yeah.
And so, and it's the same thing. It's like we are like nurses. We're on call, and we have no idea when that call is going to come in.
Yeah.
And we just have to be ready, and that's what we've signed up for by choosing to make this our lifetime career. It's like we don't have a choice.
Yeah.
This is our job, and you can either deal with it or not.
Yeah. Well, luckily for me, she's got so much patience and understanding. So, yeah, we've made it work. I do love our first episode back for this new year has been pseudo-negative.
Oh.
Like, oh, acting sucks. It's terrible. Don't ever do
No,
it.
yeah, I wanted to be real.
No,
like I'm not upset or like meh. It's more just like if I had to change something about the industry, if I wanted to live the change that I wanted to be in the industry, it would be for people to be more real and less performative outside of our performances.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Because I have that problem.
But I understand it though. Like I often will try to ride an edge when people ask me about voice actor stuff, like people who are like beginning or starting out or whatever. In their first year, I have to really gauge, like, do you want to do this as a hobby? Like, how serious are you? And that changes my answer. Because if it's like a hobby, I'm like, oh yeah, it's great, it's fun. You just kind of go in and you do it when you have time and you get your Blue Yeti, and it's, it's fun. It's a way to blow off steam. If they're serious, like, I want to be a career actor, I'm like, all right, strap in, because I'm going to tell you some truths, and this isn't to scare you off, but it's like,
You're about to go to war.
but like no one prepared me for all the stuff that was really hard. Because when you look up stuff online, everybody's like so positive. Like, it's amazing. It's a dream job. I get to go and I run overseas and look at me, I'm famous. But they don't talk about like all the hard stuff. And when they do, it's people who are really burnt out and they're over.
And they're the other end of the spectrum. Like they've bottled it up for so long that it just comes out as vitriol.
I mean, like, I delayed my pursuance of acting as an adult because I watched a video of an actor talk about that it's impossible and you shouldn't even try. And I was like, okay, I'm out. Like but then, you know, my creative innards, like, I couldn't let it go. So eventually I pursued it because I felt like I needed to. Mm-hmm. And that's what I tell people, you know, like, do you feel like you need to do it? If not, maybe reassess.
Mm-hmm. It's exactly parallel to what my very first agent told me. The best piece of advice that I've lived by, I mean, obviously because I had made a career out of it, was that they said to me, is like, if you can imagine yourself doing anything else, do that.
Yeah.
And if you can't, then you may have a shot.
I had a guy reach out to me asking, like, oh, hey, you know, like, I want to practice. I'm getting coaches and stuff like that, but, like, what do you think if I did, like, voices and this and that? I'm like, all right. So, like, maybe not voices, but, like, let's try to practice acting. And I was like, you know, the industry's moving away from just voices, and if you can do a great voice but you can't act, the voice is wasted. And then I stopped and I told him, I was like, I hope I'm not demoralizing you. I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to be real. And, like, people didn't tell me this stuff. I had to find out on my own. Because, like, there's also, too, when you are in the professional atmosphere, you don't really get feedback. If you're in a booth with a director, you don't get feedback. You'll get told, you'll get direction. But, like, I have had multiple times where I've done just a bit, like a small little role, and I'll go to watch the episode and they recast it because I didn't, like, for whatever reason it was, but I wasn't told that, and I wasn't told why.
I actually, a guy that I was in a session with got recast with me, and I heard what the reason, and sometimes the reason's not very, even for them, is not really succinct. The director was like, something about it sounded weird. I can't put my finger on what it is. Yeah. Can you do it? And I was like, yeah. And I did it. And they're like, yes. Okay, that sounds better. Cool. We're going to, like, sometimes they don't even know why it didn't work.
That's true.
And, but like, it comes back to, like, and I'm not saying this is about the directors. I'm just saying in general, people can sometimes know that they're hearing something they don't like, even if they have no idea why.
Yeah. I haven't talked about this yet, but I had a really fun moment with Rig, actually. We were doing so he has cast me and 3 ladies to do these little, like, ghosts, like little yokai. He's like, I need 3 little gremlins, and you're who I thought of. And so, which I appreciate. I love being little gremlins. So we're doing an episode, and my character, he didn't have a singular, like, he didn't have an individual line. He just had group cues. And so he's like, hey, I'm sorry, there's no lines. I was like, I'm just happy to be here. And I get paid the same regardless. And then they found there's another ghost who's a big monster. And they're just watching it to see what it sounds like. And then they're like, oh, is this in the M&Es, which just means music and effects. So was this voiced or was this put into the effects layer? Like, oh, this is effects. Like, okay, I hope I didn't get your hopes up. You know, don't worry about it. But me being who I am, I'm not in the booth. I'm standing behind the engineer, and I'm listening to this big giant snake ghost make noises, and I'm like a parrot, so I'm like also just imitating it because that's fun for me. And then we're already 2 minutes over. Like, the next actor's in the studio with us. He's like, Christian, get in the booth. I heard you making weird noises. Go record it. And he's like, I don't know if I'm going to use it, so don't get offended. I was like, I'm just having fun. And I did it, and the engineer, who was Outlaw, he put an effect on it before we even listened to it. And it sounded amazing. He was like, all right, perfect. We're keeping it. And I was like, yay! Yay! But, like, it's funny, too, like, with... You're talking about how you take what you can get and you do what you can when you can. I never would have considered myself a creature actor. I still don't. That's not something that I pursue.
He is a creature actor.
Thank you. But I've developed this skill exclusively with Rig, because he kept giving me monsters and creatures. And so I had to develop, I was never taught, I had to develop my own way of sounding inhuman, which is just to stick my tongue out as far as it can go. Yeah. So I found like I sound less human if I just go stick my tongue out.
Mine is inhaling, saying everything but through an inhale.
Yeah.
That's my go-to move. Is instead of exhaling, just inhaling while I do. Where do you want to go?
Sure.
That's mine.
Yeah. I'll do that too, mostly for really high-pitched stuff. So there have been times where I've impressed people with my whistle tone. It's because I'm inhaling.
Oh.
Yeah.
So for me, the reason why I like the inhale is that it's the easiest for me to modulate the pitch. So it's it can go high and it can go low.
Yeah.
So that's why I like it. And it obviously has a gravel that I can't recreate without shredding my voice
Yeah.
the other direction.
I like doing that when I have non-verbals. If I'm not saying any words and just making noises, I'll do that. But for this particular snake monster, the actual texture it had, I could replicate with my voice. Which I don't know, is just...
So what's your segment, by the way? We've been on to my segment for a while.
Your segment's fun. My segment is way less deep. So we've talked about, like, in our improv rehearsals and just as actors in general, that actors will keep a Rolodex of characters that they can kind of jump into at the drop of a hat. I would just kind of like to discuss, like, what are your Rolodex characters and, like, where did they come from?
It's funny that you bring this up. I literally just had a workshop with one of the casting directors that worked on Star Trek, Strange New Worlds, which is why we took the workshop.
Sure.
And she wanted us to prepare a 3-page monologue. Mine ended up being 3.5 pages.
Because you're an extra.
It's because the scene I wanted to do is a extremely long scene. It's a 10-minute scene.
Okay.
And it's from Doctor Who, The Black Vault, and it's Peter Capaldi, and it's a 10-minute long scene. It's a very long scene, and he talks the whole time. So when I got it transcribed, so I got it from the internet, it was 8 pages long.
Wowzers.
And I needed to cut that down to 3 pages.
Yeah.
And so, like, his dialogue is large, swathy. Like some of the lines take up half the page. So I went in deep, and that was me cutting it down. Like, I cut everything I could cut.
Yeah.
I cut while still keeping intact, it making sense.
In the end, it was just verbs.
It's all
That's
verbs.
all it was.
Me go there. you blow up, Zorg.
Zorg.
And so, like, you're getting in front of the cast director, and so, like, one of the things you have to think about is, like, what am I going to get cast for? And one of the biggest trappings that actors fall into is, like, there's nothing wrong with trying to book the roles that you want to book.
Right.
But there is a certain amount of it that you have to consider, like, what roles am I going to get booked for?
Yeah.
And so that's where, like, wallet characters come into play, is, like,
Yeah.
knowing the things you can play. I play insane whimsical a lot.
Yeah.
Not like insane where it's like the Joker, like insane like the Doctor. That's why I chose that scene for that workshop. And she said I was one of the few that, like, in the class that got like that was amazing. You did incredible. Like, that was, like, she complimented my scene even in a email afterwards. And it was because I'd chosen something that was a character that is what I get cast for.
Yeah.
I've played insane whimsical a lot on camera, and in the booth in voiceover it's similar, where I've kind of got two things. I play dickhead assholes a lot, and goofy serious goofy tryhards.
Yeah.
Like, I would say Iba's a goofy tryhard, and Iba's probably the perfect casting for me, where it's like he has his moments where he's like, I'm going to talk to you about this thing I'm really into, but also I really wish women would look at me. Oh, I was so excited in the last episode of MF Ghost. I got to be Philip Seymour Hoffman as Iva, because he's like he's being so weird.
Okay.
To number 7.
Sure. Oh yeah.
And so, like, there are takes of that line where I was full on delivering it as Philip Seymour Hoffman, being like, I can't believe number 7 doesn't think about me. I wish he would. Like, full on. Like,
That's terrifying.
yeah, it was awesome. If you go and watch episode 12, I'll show you the line after we wrap.
Okay.
It's a lot.
So funny. So you're talking about going after characters that like you knowing your type. Mm-hmm. So one of my favorite lines is an interview with Yuri Lowenthal, one of my favorite actors of all time, and he was talking about that he wishes he was Batman. Like he that's like this is also before he was Spider-Man, which for him is like such a perfect casting. But he said, I wish I was Batman, but I know I'm Robin. He said, I will always audition for Batman because that's what I want. But like, I know my type. And then he gets Spider-Man, which is such like, because even in like the what's that universe where they mishmashed DC and Marvel together, Spider-Man and Dick Grayson came together and became Spider-Boy.
Oh, what is that called? I love those comics.
Yeah, because it was like Batman and Wolverine was Dark Claw.
Dark Claw.
Super Soldier is Captain America and Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what that's called, but I love that. So my type at the moment that I get cast for a lot, like I said, is like really goofy, like cartoony characters. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm getting cast a lot as right now. And now I am working to get more like serious, like in my like character acting types in my tool belt. But also too, I know I do well at cartoony characters. Mm-hmm. I grew up that way. That's what I watched. Like I watched Jerry Lewis and Jim Carrey, and I watched the most cartoony people alive, and that's where I base my comedy from. That's what I like.
I would love to be John Wick.
Oh yeah.
But I know I'm Jim Carrey.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I would love to be a character that is brooding and badass, but I also know that I am a goofy, in like slightly off kilter, like Jack Sparrow-y.
Yeah.
Like that's the closest I can get to badass.
Yeah.
Is Jack Sparrow.
So every time I make a D&D character, I give them this real tragic backstory, and I'm planning they're going to be like the Bruce Wayne, and then as soon as I open my mouth in D&D, it's just Christian. It's like, oh, hi everybody, my parents are dead, whee!
So I used to have this theory that all D&D characters are one of two things. They're either an idealized version of yourself, or they're an exaggerated facet of yourself. So like I play a lot of big, strong barbarians because I desperately want to be a big, strong man.
Big, strong man.
That beats up people. But they almost always end up being goofy, like abrasive. Like they're me. They're just me, but with muscles.
Yeah. I like to play rogues and sneaky sneaks. I like those a lot. But in the end, it's always just like they're insecure and they're not confident. They don't want to sneak into places that are dangerous.
Yep.
And they're good boys, so they don't steal or assassinate. It's like they're the worst rogues ever.
I am because I couldn't commit. I'm playing another good boy playthrough in Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh yeah.
Because I can't fucking help myself.
Dude, I can't. I played Mass Effect, all the Mass Effects. I'm always Paragon. Red Dead Redemption 2. I played good. I can't. It is really hard. I've played one evil character in D&D, and it was very much like a struggle at all times.
All of my characters are super chaotic, and I don't want them to be, but they end up being very
Danny
chaotic.
is in her second playthrough still unromanceable in Baldur's Gate 3.
No one wants to
Every
mess
single
with me.
one of my companions have tried to sleep with me. None of hers have tried to sleep with her.
That's really
I got
funny.
to kiss Shadowheart.
Yeah, but that's almost like
That was
baked
me
in.
me asking Corey, what should I say?
What should I
Corey
say?
was my wingman.
And then there were three options. One was grab their face and shove. And Danny was like, huh?
I was like, no, don't grab her face and shove.
How do I irritate both Astarion, Shadowheart,
I'm more
Carla
impressed
had,
that you irritated Astarion. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how you irritated Astarion.
but how did I irritate Astarion and Carla? Like, they should be at opposite ends, right?
Yeah.
Like, what one?
Yeah, you'd think so.
You are so all over the place. No one likes you. She really wants to be in this episode, guys.
Yeah.
I am.
We burned the other chairs.
Like, we thought about bringing out the third chair, and I was
like,
like,
nope.
nah, fam. This is the brosode. This is the Chodes episode.
The Chodesode.
The Chodesode.
Yeah, Danny had her own episode.
Yeah, I wanted my own episode, and Danny refuses to let me.
That's marriage. That's marriage.
Danny said several episodes by herself. I don't get one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cook and walk.
You better not.
So, what is your, like... Because we talked about, like, in improv, you have, like, Rolodex characters. So then, like, what is, like, one of your go-to characters for, like, on-camera versus voiceover versus improv?
So, improv, I have a lot more freedom to play outside of, like, things that I would get cast for. Like, a German scientist, but then again, I almost always play whimsically crazy. I play a lot of whimsically crazy. The kid show character I was in for 10 years was whimsically crazy. The wizard is almost identical, just older, whimsically crazy. My go-to character in improv is the German scientist that just wants to harvest the organs. The difference is he's crazy. And it's very small. Everything's very small. And then in voiceover, it's I mean, come on, who's gonna trust a guy like this? I'm gonna beat the. I'm gonna flick this cigarette, eat it. You know, like it's like my go-to thing is gravel. So like in voiceover, it's like the thing that I have that nobody else has is my voice has a natural texture that I can't get rid of.
Sure.
So my go-to move is to just up that as much as possible.
Sure.
Because they're not going to be able to sound as authentic with this bullshit going on as I can. But what about you? What do you think? Your three?
I mean, I feel like so I don't have any on-camera experience. I can only like maybe go from my theater experience. I'm just like the goofball.
I'm sorry.
What's this?
Danny is posted up in our eye line, and she's just
She's in my periphery. She's in your eye line.
yeah. She's straight in my eye line, and she is like making it known
She is
that
challenging
she
you.
wants to be on this episode. Just you know what? Come here. Just, no.
I'm not doing anything.
No. Yes, you are. Christian, continue. What were you saying?
What I like to do, character-wise, is to tell people I don't want to be doing something, and then just be around them when they're doing the thing. Is the kind of characters I like to be.
She's gonna have to sit down. No, you crawl. Yeah, you crawl underneath. You crawl underneath it.
This is marriage. Oh. Okay. This is highly. Okay. Oh. We got her also the saddest chair.
All right, continue, Christian.
Yeah, so like when people see me, I definitely play more into like the Chris Farleys and the what's that guy's name? He was the snowman in Frozen. Josh Gad.
Mm-hmm.
Like I fall more into those kind of categories. I'm a hefty guy. I'm funny. I'm loud. And so that's where I kind of lay physically, like attractive in theater, and I would guess on camera stuff. I just haven't pursued that. Improv, my go-to characters are always anxious and nervous, or I really do. So I worked with Kayla to do the confident idiot, which I really, really like.
Yes.
I love playing the confident idiot. In voiceover, I love playing unhinged villains. I love it a lot. Cause I can go, pretty low with some gravel and texture, and then I can go really high, and it's just, even when I go a little higher, I can do it. It's just, I love it. Mm-hmm. I love it so much. Yeah.
That's a fun question. I want to piggyback off yours. What is your... Give me a snippet of each of our, like, if we got to play our idealized villain, what would that sound like?
So, like, what would be my idealized villain?
Yeah, just go for it. Give me an example.
Okay, so there is a machinima that I was cast in years ago, and I've since gone pro, and the rate is really, really low, but I continue to do it because I really like the character. And also, the guy who does the series, he is, like, if he had a real budget, he could make really good stuff. Like, he's got a very cinematic? There you go. Cinematographic eye. Like, using the Halo 5 engine, like, he does a lot of stuff. And so I play a really unhinged, crazy character named Kane. And so he talks really fast and he talks really slow, and he kind of goes off and talks about things that don't really exist, but then when he gets really serious, that's the part that I really like, because he gets more intimate. But he's just kind of unhinged, and you can't expect what he's going to do, but he's also just like, hi everybody, I'm here, let's party. Oh, you're all dead already. That's sad. I think that's something I really, really do enjoy doing.
What about you, Danny?
I love that the dog is doing ASMR.
I know. What somebody at all times in this household needs to be annoying.
Like, I just heard he's behind us eating. I don't know why he's had food this entire time.
Because you're no longer capable of being the one that's being obnoxious. So now
it's gone
he
to
has
him.
he has to assume
Also,
the mantle.
He gave me a tennis ball. I tried to throw it to him, and he was not interested.
He said, this is yours.
Yeah, he's like, this is definitely not mine.
You can't throw.
For the audio listeners, Corey took the tennis ball from me and went to throw it and hit the stage lights.
It's now considerably brighter.
It is much brighter.
I'm watching it.
Okay. Danny, take us out, Johnny. No, Danny, what about your villain?
Ooh, I don't know if I've gotten to do my villain, but it would probably be like, so I've gathered you all here.
Oh, like the femme fatale.
I'm surprised that you did return my email. I thought it had been lost to you. I figured that you just didn't care.
Oh, that's a fun challenge. You're gonna redo yours. It's that you're now your villain, your idealized villain, responding to a shitty corporate email.
I was like, yeah, your villain's just like a CEO.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't realize that I hit your spam filter. I've been hitting your spam filter for days. But that's okay, honey. I can get through that spam filter. Yes.
Are you hitting on them now?
Yes. It's very Poison Ivy. So my idealized villain is like a mix between Poison Ivy meets Weird Girl.
Mm-hmm. Well,
like.
So
like,
the relationship between Harley and Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be.
So if you want my villain to respond to an email, hello to all it may whom concern. I realize that this is from 4 or 5 days ago. You probably don't even remember, but I am coming to kill you. I was hoping you would actually respond and tell me if you wanted me to bring a gift or if you wanted me to bring, like, cookies. And also if you have any pets, because I am highly allergic. And so I need to know if I need to bring an EpiPen, but you haven't responded. Oh! Hello? Anyways, I've already been in your house, and I know your computer works. Respond to me, you bastard!
Nice.
Yes.
Mine is I've already gotten to do my idealized villain once, but To whom it may concern. I've noticed that you haven't responded to my repeated and frequent requests for the information. Is it so much to ask that you respond in a timely manner? No? Well, maybe this will be brought up in your review. Hope you're well.
That's really good. So if I were to go less cartoony, what I really like in villains is the unpredictability. Like, it's the highs and the lows. So the audition I did last week that I really, really, really liked, he is a very similar kind of villain, but instead of like being cartoony, he was... you ever watched The Batman with Edward Cullen? So the Riddler is that unhinged, mentally, like...
Did you just say Edward Cullen, like Twilight?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember
Okay.
Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson. Yeah, sorry.
I understand. She's trying to
Thank
make fun of
you.
you. I got you.
I don't
I
remember
was
his
like,
name.
Like, it just hit me. I was like, wait, he means...
I got you, fam.
Thanks,
I got
Bubby.
you.
Bubby. Thanks,
I got you, Bubby.
But no, but I like that one because
You're in the way.
this is why you weren't invited.
I can see.
We were trying to get our on.
Yeah.
And you,
But I like that guy because he was like he's very, very quiet, and then he gets really loud and insane. So the line was, I knew it. It's real. The Red Box Project.
shredding that mic.
Oh, I know. I know. But I love that where like they're really, really quiet and then really, really loud and then
My thing that
Unhinged.
with him that I really love that he did, because I recently rewatched that movie again for the second time. I think it might have been the third.
The Batman?
Mhm.
I didn't realize
And-
you had rewatched it 2 other times.
Yeah.
without me.
I rewatched it again, and is that actors can get really addicted to the high and low, because the beauty of villains is that anything you do is going to be justified by the audience. Like, you can do anything. There's a freedom in villains that heroes don't have, which is that literally you can do whatever. You can say that same line 1,000 ways and they'll all make sense as a villain.
Yeah.
But with him, is he very judiciously picks his moments of when he does get loud.
Yeah.
For the most part throughout the film, he just seems like a really nerdy, like, oh, here we are.
Yeah.
I mean, you were supposed to understand.
Yeah.
You know, no.
Who plays him?
I forgot the actor. He plays an incel really well.
He does a really good job.
Yeah.
But like it's funny too because I wouldn't if you would have asked me who to cast as that particular character, I wouldn't have cast him.
No, but he did an incredible job at
Yeah.
it. And everybody wants to be the Joker, and not enough people want to be the Riddler.
Right.
In like how he played it.
Yeah,
where-
that particular Riddler.
Yeah. Where it's less comical, way more grounded, and picking your moments when you want to get loud and spitty and all that stuff.
Yeah, so like that, like if I were to go like away from that cartoony character, that's the kind of villain I really think I would do well as because he's nervous, he's unsure, insecure, all that stuff. I really feel like I excel at that.
There are other sides to that. I mean, he did it really well, but in turn, like you have Man of Steel or Batman v Superman. What is it? What's that guy who played that version of Lex Luthor?
I don't know.
Gosh, I know exactly who you're talking about.
What is his name?
Because he plays like that kind of character a lot. It's that nervous, overly talkative.
Yeah,
kind
he
of
tried to do
character.
the same thing and it didn't sell as well. And so any attempt at anything can be both good and bad, and just like it's a matter of like managing how much you're giving him anything. So
Danny's bailing on the podcast
No,
already.
I have to go do something. I was doing something. I'm so sorry.
Thunder Chunks.
I'm not doing that.
Thunder Chunk,
I'm so sorry.
Thunder Chunk, ho!
You have to go back like 3 or 4 episodes to figure out that reference.
We have loyal fans.
We have royal fans.
We have chunky fans.
Everybody, let's chunk.
Everybody do the chunk.
Everybody do the chunk. All right, Danny, what's your segment?
Yeah.
I really wanted to know, what do you think are conventions small niche conventions that you want to happen?
Ooh, that's a fun one. I'm gonna add to this question. Small niche conventions that shouldn't exist.
Oh, I thought about it first and I was like, maybe I'll do it positive.
Because you know what I found out exists? Chuck E. Cheese convention.
No.
Okay.
Is Chucky there?
Yes, several Chuckies. For different versions of Chuckies, but there are Chuck E. Cheese conventions that are not corporate. They're just guys that are really into Chuck E. Cheese.
You can't just say every van is a Chuck E. Cheese convention. That's illegal.
No, it's like they're into Chuck E. Cheese.
That's interesting.
Okay, so a con that should exist.
Cons that
And
you want to exist, and cons that shouldn't
Okay,
exist.
that was my original thing. I was like, what are cons that shouldn't exist? But I was like, I love that.
I just listened to a podcast all about the history of Barbie, and people who like have collected tens of thousands. They were like making this joke like, oh, they must live in a big house. Like, no. Barbie lives in a big house. They live in a shed. Like that's the. So man, there's got to be maybe not a convention, but conferences for just about anything.
Yeah.
Oh, there are. There definitely are.
Conventions that shouldn't exist. Fans of the M. Night Shyamalan's Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh my god.
That's interesting.
I don't have anything nice to say. I can't say it.
So I'll say nothing.
I will say nothing except
That's the end of that.
shame on them.
Shyamalan on them.
God dang it. Alright, what con shouldn't exist?
Shouldn't.
Shouldn't exist?
Yeah. Or what con should exist?
We need a Shiba Con.
Shiba Con.
I need Shiba Con.
Inu.
Dogecoin?
Dogecoin. We need
Dogecoin.
Dogecoin. They only
Dogecoin.
accept Dogecoin. And then what shouldn't exist? Oh, okay. Well, you know those women who wear those eyelashes that are like way too big for their face?
Oh my gosh.
A convention for those people.
The floor dusters.
Like they're at any moment they could take flight and fly away from you. I wish they would.
When they flutter and eyes knock somebody out. Like, oh.
A con for me that shouldn't exist is a foot con. It's all about feet. I'm not into that.
That exists.
I'm
That
sure it does.
100% exists.
I'm sure it does.
So you're not gonna sell feet pics?
No.
Or...
What? Look.
As long as you don't have to look at them.
Right. I don't want to get like immersed in feet, but as a actor and person who does not have a regular day job, I am not above selling pictures of my feet. I just have gross feet. So I have like weird little lines in my toenails. I've had them since I was a kid.
Corey calls me knife toes. So.
Yeah. She literally sliced our bed sheets open.
No, I didn't.
With her toes.
I didn't do that.
That is a real thing that happens. I have pictures. If you pay me $20, I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
Danny's
happened
feet
was-
are in those pictures.
They are.
What
yeah.
happened was we slept on the bed and it got thinner, and then my feet scraped it.
I've had sheets for over a decade and a half before I got married, and nothing like that ever happened. Danny literally, with her toes, because they're at where her feet go, sliced it open.
So here's something that I don't even know if Danny knows this, but every so often Corey will send me pictures of Danny sleeping like a vampire. It's the best thing. She's just like...
Danny's the weirdest person I know.
It feels nice when you sleep. It's like you're giving yourself a hug.
Yeah. But her also...
And you're a rabbit.
Also, I've seen Danny shred chicken using her toenails. She'll just go.
Shred like a harpy. Fucking grabs.
I hate y'all.
Seen her eviscerate a gazelle as she's trying to lure children with her songs.
It's like in
Baby shark.
There's actually footage of Danny.
Hide your kids.
There's footage of Danny in Africa where there's a gazelle drinking out of a river, and her feet just come out like a crocodile's fucking jaws around the
She
gazelle.
rolls over.
Death roll, death roll.
Yeah, there's not a single thing that I know that I found out about you that doesn't make you weirder. Like a real conversation we had yesterday was we were in the car and Danny's like, you know what my favorite animal is?
We were talking
It's
about foxes and how cute they were.
Yeah, and those are cute animals. And what I didn't know about foxes, they have slitted eyes. I didn't know that.
I don't know that either.
I did not know that either.
Yeah.
Slit eyes.
Foxes have slitted eyes.
Oh, interesting.
Like cats.
Oh.
And
Oh.
and so she's like, you know what my favorite animal is? It's a maned wolf. And I was like, oh, that sounds cute. And she's like, they're gray or something.
No, I said they're just adorable. I love them. Like I love gray foxes.
And so I was driving at the time, can't see it. So she's looking it up on her phone.
He's wolf blonde when he's driving.
Yeah, and so then we get out of the car. She pulls up a picture of one. It's the most horrifying thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It looks like Slender Man's puppy.
Yeah,
which is your joke that you made.
I did make
100% agree with it.
Yeah.
I like stiletto fox.
Stiletto Fox is
It's
Kayla's.
very like
Yeah.
It looks look up maned wolf. It is terrifying.
they're so cute.
There is like, I think maybe it's Filipino. Oh, that's really cool. I did not know that. There's this like Filipino, I think it's an Asian vampire that looks fake, where they don't like, bite into your neck and suck blood. What they'll do is they sneak into your house and they have like this really long tongue. It'll go into a pregnant woman's navel and eat the baby from inside. That's what that wolf reminds me of.
It does. Caleb made the most unnerving statement about it. It's like, it looks like it has extra long hands to reach into your window real far.
Yeah.
And I was like, that thing needs to be extinct.
Yeah.
I love it. It's like a little model fox.
It looks like a child's drawing.
I did like that it's Slender Man's dog.
Yeah,
Like
it's-
clearly, obviously.
It's Slendy Doge.
Slendy dog.
Well, because we are also
But
on the car ride to OkiCon, we were talking about D&D monsters that we would like to exist, and Danny had two answers. One was characters, like one was a unicorn, the other one was this unknowable monster demon thing, and it's
Body
like
snatch.
body snatchers. Yeah, and it's like that's where Danny exists, between unicorns and body snatchers.
So and that dog perfectly encapsulates the middle ground between a unicorn and a body snatcher.
Right, probably a little bit more body snatcher.
Did you say it looks like a skinwalker?
It looks like
like,
a
does.
like you're like that thing is not real. It's a
If somebody
cryptid.
said a skinwalker, that thing would be how I envision it.
Yeah.
And it's adorable. You should
Oh,
should
don't-
love it
don't-
as much as I do.
It is not cute. Don't you, and Isaiah, don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Don't encourage Danny.
I see. Yes, it's very cute.
So look, Anaze, I don't. Your frontal lobe has not completed.
Don't listen to Christian. Don't listen to Christian. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know.
I'm just saying.
You're basically almost an adult at this point. Like, what are you? How? She had just had her birthday.
Yeah, I was like 14.
Is it
So-
14, 15?
that's
Are you
not an
15?
adult.
No, like you have another 10 years.
Listen, women age faster than men. Like, they mature faster than men. So
She can be into the main fox as a like amazing pet. It's so cute. You
she's
want one?
probably more mature than all of us.
No, that's
Well,
true.
That's probably true, but that's because
Listen,
due
don't listen to
genetics.
anything we have to say. But still, your opinion's wrong.
Don't listen to us, but listen to this.
Yeah.
14.
She's
Yeah.
14. Aw.
I knew that.
I was gonna say 15, but I did 14. Yeah, that's right. Good. Awesome.
He's talking into.
Anyways, so cons that should exist.
Should
That
exist.
you would love to exist. That you would go to on a heartbeat.
Oh, okay. This is hard for me because I don't care about anything. So, and I don't like going and hanging out with people. So cons that should exist.
D&D con would seem like it'd be a...
That definitely exists.
Kind of. They do have like epics, which is kind of like a con where you go and you have like 20 or more tables and they're all working on the exact same adventure together. And it's usually like storming a castle, or like it's like a big epic part in a multi-part story where they all work together. Like, so this table works to open the gate. So when the gate opens, this table can now go through the gate. It's actually really, really fun. But I don't want to do it. I have actually run an epic, as they call it, like this, like the General Supreme or something like that. I did actually have a patch on my jacket that's from that, and it was fine. It's a lot of people. I'd rather play. God, that should exist.
Guys, this shouldn't be this hard as you guys...
I made mine.
Oh, what is yours?
I said it. I said Sheba Con
Shiba Con.
and eyelash Con. No,
Did I say one that should exist?
I don't remember.
I don't think you did. I think you said one that you didn't want to exist, which was Avatar: The Last Airbender by M. Night Shyamalan, which is great.
A con that should exist, WhipCon.
RipCon. Well, I'm
But
sure
not-
that there's a
not the-
bondage.
That's
con.
21
Not
and
the-
up.
Not the sexy WhipCon.
Oh.
Like Jacques the Whipper is the headlining guest.
What do we call these? Bullwhip cons? Like
Bullwhip
what?
Con,
What do we?
Trick WhipCon.
Trick whip.
Uh,
Trick whip con.
also,
Trick whip.
a Kung Fu Con.
Kung Fu Con.
It's just called Japan.
No.
Sorry,
Oh my
China.
God.
I'll see myself out.
We can't take you anywhere.
This is why we didn't want you on this episode.
I'll see myself out.
Yeah, you get out of here. You leave.
Oh my god. A con that should
But
exist.
a Kung Fu Con would be awesome. It'd be so much fun. And like you would have like Kung Fu action stars be at the con. Like Jackie Chan would be like the headlining guest.
Fu Man Con.
Donnie Yen.
Oh.
That'd be awesome to have Donnie Yen. Jet Li.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
So it's really funny. Like, these are things I'd have been like super all about when I was younger. Now that I'm in my 30s, nothing touches my heart anymore.
He's dead on the inside.
I am dead on the inside. I don't know. I think like all the things I'm interested in already. So earlier in rehearsal, we were doing like, hey, tell us about like like we're gonna be doing scenes where we don't talk to each other. We're gonna be doing skills, like just acting them out. And I was like, I have no skills. All I do is I act, and I do everything I can like to market and push forward my acting career on the computer. So it's like, oh, cool. I'm gonna sit here on my computer and like
So nothing.
nothing.
I'm disappointed in you.
yeah.
Find something that you love that's not acting. Find something. For the love of God.
Okay. Cheesecake Con.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Unique dessert con.
Yeah.
Like trying to invent desserts.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that.
Or a candy con.
Candy Con. I like Pastry Con. It would be good for me too. I love pastries. Yeah. There you go. I love food. That's why I married a baker. Okay, well, I think that about wraps it up for us this week.
Yep. Welcome back. It's episode 1 of season 1. Season 2.
Season 2, take 1.
Season take 2. 1, 2.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Oh, another thing we discovered this week is that the American, like the English numerical system is garbage. Like, it's overly complicated.
Okay.
Like, we were talking about it earlier. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 11, 12. Like, the second row of numbers has its own, like, numerical system. Like, its own words. And in Japan, it's like, when you get to, it's like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. and then it's Juichi, Juni, Jusan, Juyon. So it's like 1, and then whenever you get to 20, it's Niju, and it's Niju Ichi, Niju Ni. Like that makes sense. But like English, it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23.
Yeah. The tens are definitely a little weird.
Like they're their own thing for no reason.
Yeah. Because it's like that way in Spanish too. Because you have like uno, dos, and all that. And then like once, doce, which...
Uno, once, doce, trece, just like desi.
But like once you get to like 20, it's 21, 22, 23. So like it kind of does that same thing where like the
Language is stupid.
the tens are kind of weird.
Stupid. All right. But you can find us all at take1improv.com and take the #1 improv on all social media. Christian, where can they find you?
Dead in a ditch.
Not feeling life at all.
So you can find me at the Christian Eris on all social media.
You can find me, Corey, the letter J Phillips, on all social media. Danny, where can they find you?
Danielle Yoshiko.
Yeah.
Just in life.
I actually tried to hit the light that time and missed.
Well, you got the cord.
So,
Okay, cool. Well, we will be back next week, everybody. And remember, we love you.
I love you.
Bye!